With time against them, however it works there, and our heroes trapped in another dimension, how can Cooler get his revenge on his little brother? Hey folks, MasakoX here. Now, being an evil, self-obsessed and ugly tyrant can sometimes be quite a lonely gig without you realizing it. Sometimes maybe it makes you think about the future, get a little broody at times as well. Now supposing that one thing that Toriyama mused upon back in one of his flights of fancy long and long ago became a reality in the show, and not consigned instead to supplemental material. And no. We're not going to be talking about a cat who looks like he did the horizontal fling with Boo, that is Neko Margin. Today we're talking about something more indirect. Today, we are talking about the idea and heading towards the conclusion of the adventure that could arise if Frieza were to have a son. Now, a lot of you out there were surprised to hear that Kuriza here, the son of Frieza, was not a creation of mine. Indeed not. Kuriza had been around the block, so to speak, for a very long time. Toriyama initially created him as a gag character for the Neko Margin short story, more modelled around a chestnut rather than something ice-related like his daddy dearest. In this story, however, his discourse is far more tasteful and substantial, set in reality here. Frieza had gotten lonely without knowing it, and thought about his succession, so he had Kuriza made based off his own image. But then he decided to incorporate his new interest in Saiyans into the mix as well, and sent his boy off effectively to Earth boarding school, to not only learn some things about life, but to wreak havoc, gather some intel about the monkeys so that Frieza could use it against them. But little did he know that nurture ruled out, and Kuriza actually ended up being friends with his roomies, rather than being a mole and a pest. In the last part though, the wrath of Cooler had taken its course, and our Earth Saiyans were removed from existence. Yet, they weren't. Much like the Tournament of Power, they were instead sent off to another dimension of reality, but most importantly, out of the way of Cooler, so that he could milk the talent and potential of Kuriza, somehow, and to get back at Frieza for being the favourite in the family. But little did Cooler know though, that the rest of the Dragon team had figured out the situation and had gone to rescue their friends using a similar manner that Cooler had done. That and Kuriza was not going to go down without a fight, and a quite substantial fight, and I think you'll remember that Salza was subject to that in spades, having to be his de facto babysitter. With Frieza now on board to help the Dragon team once more, can they rescue the boy and put Cooler back in the... Cooler? Bulma, Frieza and Piccolo had successfully ventured to the mysterious realm between reality and the otherworld, called the Earth Prison, in which at least, according to Piccolo and his Kami contingent, souls are tested here, trying to cleanse themselves before they could finally go to their final resting place or start afresh in another life. According to Porunga, this place was the thing that saved the souls of the Saiyans from erasure completely. This was the closest Shenron could do to getting rid of Saiyans from Universe 7. The Saiyans were far too strong for Shenron to erase them completely. Shenron's no Beerus, and so he thought of the next best thing, move them somewhere else. Out of sight, out of mind and all of that, Shenron thought. However, Frieza had some objections to this, and a lot of questions. Wait. I've been in Hell. This looks nothing like it. Why wasn't I sent here? Piccolo shook his head though. Clearly, the tyrant hadn't understood any of what had been described.
This is not hell, Frieza. This is what you get after you decide that you want to purify yourself and be born again as a new being. You never decided that. Think of this like, purgatory, reincarnation and all that.
Frieza was getting a little grumpy though at this unfair perk. This is ridiculous. No wonder I have such an inner disgust for something like this. You people really don't make it easy to join your team. You do know that, don't you? So much effort. The Namekian took a deep breath. The Emperor was really getting on his nerves, and something fierce.
In order to find a way to another life, right? The soul has to get rid of their negative energy and leave it all behind. All that is left here, so that soul can start anew somewhere else.
Bulma looked at both of them for a second. Well, that's good, isn't it? Because our friends and family are the good guys. I bet they don't have any negative energy whatsoever. Why are you two looking at me like that? did I miss something? This time, both Frieza and Piccolo were on the same page. Will you tell her or shall I? Frieza glanced at Piccolo. Bulma then sighed out loud. Don't bother, I get it. Vegeta, of course, it's always Vegeta.
I'm not sure how this labyrinth would react to living people skulking around. We need to remember that it's not designed to host living beings.
Can we talk with someone that runs the place? A Kai? A god of destruction? An angel? Bulma moved around, checking some of the doors in the realm of infinite corridors.
No one runs this place. This isn't like some kind of company like King Yema's thing. Well, at least not according to Kami's knowledge. This place is supposed to run itself, for all eternity.
Great. Let's just find your stupid friends and give Cooler what he deserves. And so, the three of them started wandering around, randomly checking doors. But the corridors then seemed to have corridors of themselves. This place seemed endless. So what is the point of this test? It's just random for random's sake. Frieza was getting really frustrated at this, the inanity of this.
I should probably mention,
Piccolo looked uneasy,
that time works differently here. The feeling of it, you know. While to the outside world we've only been gone for a few seconds, it could be millions of years for us.
What?
It can also just be hundreds. Again, time works differently here.
Do we age here? How does that work? Screamed Bulma. Thankfully, Piccolo genuinely didn't know about that part, so his dithering about the subject seemed genuine. Oh, what happens if you die here? I don't have a few hundred years lifespan unlike you two. Frieza glanced at her. Believe me, I do not plan to be stuck here for hundreds of years. I have far more pressing matters to attend to. Yeah, concerns that got us in this mess in the first place, because you didn't want to take care of your son. Bulma seemed rather accusatory and really on fire. That was a ruse, you idiot! I didn't abandon him. He was supposed to make you guys' lives miserable, torment you. He failed at that. More like you failed. Kuriza's a lovely boy. He liked it here, and we liked having him here. I'm pretty sure he enjoyed it more here than being a part of your conquest, a pawn in your little game. My Kuriza is clever. He fooled you with his clever acting. Frieza was starting to boil, but Bulma wasn't convinced. As if. I'm a mother of two, Frieza. I know when a child is enjoying themselves when I see one. You can't fake that. He liked playing with my daughter and Goku's granddaughter, for the lack of other entertainment. Bulma could tell that Frieza was on the defensive, and so she decided to keep digging. It was a very rare opportunity to have the advantage over Frieza here. Really? What sort of entertainment were you giving him, Mr. Emperor of the Universe? More galactic conquest for dinner? Bulma was getting to her wit's end.
Bulma, I really don't think this is the time for...
If I'm gonna be stuck here with this sociopath for millions of years, we may at least have this out of the way right now. He likes conquest. He is not a soft mammal like you lot. Maybe he likes it, because it was the only way he could spend some time with you. Well, that's company. It turns out that he created Kuriza so he could have some company. He didn't know if that was what his father felt also. You see, contrary to popular rumours, King Cold expected a lot from Frieza, especially after the lack of results and ambiguity around Cooler. There was never a proper loving relationship between them though. It was purely for succession purposes, to ensure that the lineage would continue. Nothing more. Frieza wasn't sure if he even understood the concept of love. What was that? But at the end of the day, there were times that Frieza and Kuriza did enjoy their company. Sometimes. I mean, I'm not saying that Frieza wanted to have his father back, and he was pretty sure that he would be in the same boat here if the roles were reversed. Would Kuriza want to be in Frieza's company anymore after this? But why did he so desperately miss that little scamp? It was so confusing. And also, why had this human woman gotten under his skin so easily? And he just took it. And why, instead of blasting her away, did he simply let her carry on? It seemed that he didn't feel like blasting her away. That was new. We will return to this conversation later, human woman. For now, let us go and find your friends. How? How do you intend to do that then? You got a plan? I don't know. But if you're such a good mother yourself, I'm sure a couple of million years won't be an issue for you. How dare you? But Frieza wasn't listening anymore to Bulma and had gone to the front of the queue. After some time though, it really felt like that time didn't matter anymore. They were hungry, thirsty, but they weren't feeling like they were going to die or anything like that. They weren't given the satisfaction of that. This place was bizarrely keeping them going, but yet the pain of wanting remained. They were just suffering, but they kept walking regardless. I mean, of course, Piccolo was the one that was taking this on board with the most stoicism, used to this kind of malnutrition and wanting. Then, after many more countless hours of who knows what, Frieza eyed Bulma when she took out her phone, looking at photos of her family. She'd looked wistful about this, and luckily, for some unexplained reason, the charge of the battery wasn't dropping. Again, time was acting weirdly here, and so, well, I guess the battery must have been extended indefinitely, seemingly, because it didn't know how time worked either. Frieza peered over Bulma's shoulder. The little one, is that your daughter? That's a new one. I haven't seen that one before. Yeah, it is. Bulla. I don't have any pictures of Kuriza. It's a weird tradition that you lot have. We capture moments that make us happy, Frieza. Or that we feel that we need to remember. Bulma swiped through a few more photos. One which showed a picture of Kuriza, in fact, together with Pan and Bulla, dirty, scuffed up and exhausted, but happy after a whole day of play. The kids seemed rather happy. Frieza tilted his head a bit. I hope you won that day. Is everything a conquest to you? Thank you for showing me that, Bulma. Wait, did you just come? If you tell anyone, I will blow your moon to pieces when we get out of here. Bulma smirked. Sure. After a moment of silent conciliation, they heard an angry roar from behind a locked door not too far away. Someone was not happy here about being imprisoned. They weren't alone, seemingly. Piccolo stopped for a second.
Wait, I know that voice. Is that...
Frieza gulped. He knew too. Some flashbacks had rushed past him, before his very eyes. Oh, I know very well that voice. Or that grunt. Broly, Piccolo smiled. Finally, he had some kind of understanding about this place aside from the obvious.
Good news is, I think I know how they're being imprisoned. Bad news is, we need to get him out as well.
How? How are we supposed to do that?
Well, it seems the only way to open this door is from our side. He can't do anything from his side.
Do we need to save him?
Frieza!
Piccolo and Bulma glared at him. All right. But you do know that I'm the only one capable of surviving his rage. You two would be torn apart in an instant if you tried.
We know. And that's why you need to hold him off enough so that he can calm down. I'm sure he being ripped away from his friends is something that would have made him at least a little bit cranky. We're bringing back all of them. No one gets left behind. I'm gonna open this door no matter what you do, so you better have a plan.
Frieza took a deep breath. Here goes nothing. He opened the door. Broly, my friend! But Broly wasn't having any of it, and his first instinct was to start attacking Frieza. And he rushed onto him with all of his anger and fury. Find the others! Go! That was the sum amount that Frieza could yell at that point, as Broly was making a punching bag out of his head. I've trained a bit since we last met, you simpleton. I will show you the true might of golden Ow! Why does it hurt so much? But the more that Broly was punching Frieza, the faster and shorter the corridor felt for Bulma and Piccolo. Man, they really couldn't wait to get out of here to a place where time worked as intended. First, they found Bulla and Pan. Luckily, they were held together in the same room. Shenron obviously had some sort of mercy for the poor girls. They treated Bulma to an onslaught of kisses and hugs, as well as whoops of relief. Then, they found Trunks and Goten. Both teenagers had been trying to show some amount of brave faces, but they were admittedly pretty shaken too. Then they found Tarbell, who was pretty confused as to how he even got there. Then there was Gohan, who seemed very concerned about all of the conferences that he had missed. Lastly, obviously, they found Vegeta and Goku. Any idea on how we can get out of here? Says Goku. What's that ungodly noise?
Oh, that? Piccolo blinked twice. Oh, that's Frieza holding Broly off for us.
They could hear Frieza's voice in the distance. And Goku was pondering for a while. My instant transmission can't get us out of here. But maybe, if you all give me your power, we can somehow jump out of here nonetheless?
I'm not sure this is how it works, Kakarot. Vegeta looked at him.
I know. I usually have to focus on an energy source, but what if we reverse that?
Piccolo looked around. That would require a lot of energy, which means we need to calm Broly down. Without him helping us, I doubt that your plan would work.
But then when they reached Broly, thankfully, the Berserker had started to cool off a bit, and he recognized Kakarot, who managed to reason with him. Broly, we need your help. We can take you back to Chila and Lemo, but first, you need to help us.
Chila.
The sole mention of the name caused Broly to power down completely, the chance to be back with his friends soothing the beast. Frieza lay there, battered and broken, but alive.
Oh, I'm enjoying the sight of this very much. Can't we just leave him here?
Vegeta laughed to himself. No. Surprisingly, that was Bulma who was defending the Space Emperor. He helped us get here. Also, Kuriza needs a father. Vegeta looked a bit surprised, but he didn't want to irritate Bulma. When Frieza got back up and dusted himself off, all of the Saiyans started to use their power for Goku. The first few tries really weren't all that successful. After all, this is not how instant transmission was supposed to work. But Goku started to modify the feeling of it, trying to repel himself instead of trying to find himself close to something. Everyone put their hands on him, and finally, and quite suddenly, it worked. They appeared on Namek, breaking free from the Earth prison. But still though, the whole thing really had drained their energy considerably. Nobody had any meaningful energy left. They couldn't fight after this. Goku laughed. I don't want to do that again. Frieza glared at them. Fine, have a nap. But after this, we go after Cooler. It's time to get my Kuriza back. Cooler's fate clearly had seemed to be settled. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? Could Cooler have an ace up his sleeve? Well, you're going to have to wait for the finale of What If Frieza Had a Son for that. But for now, leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later!